Hi, viewers. Welcome to another episode of the Nanaya West Show. Today, I have with me the very talented, the very handsome, the one and only Daddy Devon Taylor is in the house.
Hello.
This one, I hunted him down in California. Mm-hmm. We are crisscrossing. We are not staying in one place. Okay. So there are very few things that excite me, Devon. Children's literature is one of the things. Children excite me. Storytelling excites me. Children's literature excites me. So when I saw that it's like 1, 2, 3, all of the points were there. It's like, no, I gotta talk to this young man. This daddy. And when I reached out, you said yes. It's like, oh, amen. And I've been working. It's like, what kind of questions should I ask you? Like, I really want to dig deep in because there are people across the world who may say want to write, but they don't know how to write. And listening to some of your background, it's like you've discovered your path. So hoping your story will, encourage and empower some of these people to get on the path of sharing. There is power in story, and there's power in telling your own narrative. So before Devon, oh no, how do you say Devon?
Devon.
Devon. Before Devon became Devon, what is your backstory? How did you grow up?
Yeah. Oh, well, first, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. Just to share a little bit about me from my past. I grew up in California, like you said, Lakewood, California to be specific. There, I had a traditional life. I grew up with my mom, my stepdad, with my 5 brothers and sisters, and went to a nice school, and eventually became a coach, and that was my career and where I was kind of headed. Trying to lead children from the experiences I had with volleyball and trying to just pass along the sport, but also help them in their direction. So ironically enough, while I was kind of in the beginning of my career, I got a call that my nieces and nephews were no longer with their parents and they needed somewhere to be. So that shifted everything in my mind, shifted everything that I thought I had worked for and what I was working towards, and put me in a crossroads of making a big decision that would alter my life till this day. Wow. And so, I don't know how much you want me to get into it, but that's the beginning part of it.
That's the beginning of your fatherhood journey. Okay. So in your fatherhood journey, it's also you became an author.
Yes.
How did that happen? Because fatherhood and writing are not synonymous. They're not synonymous together. You understand? Yes. Some people write because they have that gift of writing, and other people may be influenced or inspired by something. What is your journey into being an author, into writing?
Yeah, no, that's definitely what where it got funny for me, because being an author, being a dad were two completely different, separate ideas, and how I brought them together was the children. Their fresh eyes and fresh ears for wanting to create just started to stir something up in me and started to bring up those childhood memories of what I really wanted to do and how I wanted to impact the world. And I remember we were sitting down and Tina had come home, she's my 9-year-old. She came home and she had a sign or a picture of her, and she was holding up a sign that said what she wanted to be when she grew up. and she wanted to be a YouTube star. And so
Wow.
I guess that's the new thing, the new artist way,
The
YouTube and all of the social media,
Instagram and mm-hmm.
which I think is great. I think it's, as we're evolving, kids are
Yes.
finding ways to, evolve with the times and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. So I don't know what that was about, just her true inspiration to want
Mm-hmm.
to be something in the future, ignited that in me. And I was like, I've always wanted to be an author, and that was something
Oh.
that I never pursued, but I was taking classes to become an author. I was writing
Mm-hmm.
things on the side. I had millions of journals that are filled, front to back, but
Mm.
never really formulated into something until the kids were with me. And so I brought them all together and told them, I have this idea that I really want to write a book, but I kind of want to do it together so that you guys can, help in the process and feel like you can see your uncle accomplish something, but also know that you had a hand in it. And
Mm-hmm.
so it became a family project. We sat down, the kids were drawing pictures, and I was kind of just, creating a story with the pictures. We were able to put together a little nice book. We still have it too, a little nice book with all of the original images from the kids and like the original story, which was just
Yes.
supposed to be a small children's book.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of where I left it because I didn't know what to do. And my partner was like, you know what? We should try to find a publisher. And I was like, there's no way. We can't. There's no publishers that's going to want to take me on. There's no publisher. We're too small. I just gave up on the idea. And found out later that he had scheduled a meeting, and not only a meeting, but like we were going to be sitting down with the publisher and talking about the book. I still didn't believe it. Still didn't think we were going to get anywhere. And we sat down in front of the publisher.
Ye of little faith.
No faith at all. And that's something that I've even been coming to terms with, because that has to change, especially with the book out now. That's done. And all of those things that led me to believe that I couldn't do it. And in all reality, I was really the only one standing in my way.
Yes.
So the publisher loved the idea, loved the idea of just our story and how we had come together and what we were really trying to do. And so she told me, I really like this idea, but I think we can expand on the story, and just made it so that, not only was it challenging me as a writer, but also so that she was giving me the opportunity to really tell the story I wanted to tell. And so we came up with the story Icarus Finds His Power, which is about a young boy that grows up with his mother as his matriarch and almost like his gladiator, the person that he looks up to the most. And the story is just about how he loses that image of his mom physically and emotionally during a battle, and has to cope with becoming a foster. And so we took our real life experiences, crafted into a story where you can kind of follow Icarus's journey and see him get to a point of just finding acceptance with himself and pushing through, even though, there are things in life that make us feel like we can't, just like me writing. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Now I'm interested in the name. How did you come up with the name Icarus? How do you spell that?
How I spell it is Icurus.
Icurus.
Yeah.
And how are you saying it?
Icarus. It's a play on words.
Okay.
There's an explanation in the story that explains his name and why it's spelled that way. But
okay.
Long story short, it's taken from the story of Icarus, the boy that flew too close to the sun. And his father was advising him not to, which is kind of it plays like a little bit of a role reversal and idea reversal of the idea of him flying too close to the sun, and the sun actually being his mom, and that's who was close to him. So when he loses that, how does he cope with the idea of no longer having that protector, that guider? So it's very nuanced.
The reason why I sound you said Icarus, it's like I wanted to hear because I was saying it differently, and I'm not going to tell you how I was saying it.
Yeah, tell me. I love it.
No, I'm not.
I love that because I feel, especially when I've met people that have read the book, and I've
Hmm.
even people that have looked at the artwork. One of
Yes.
the most amazing things that I didn't realize when I created the book was that
Hmm.
so many people were going to have their own interpretations of
Interpretations.
what
Yeah.
happened, and what's happening next, and that
Hmm.
excites me because that makes me feel the story that I'm telling is interesting to a
Hmm.
point where it's creating some kind of conversation.
Yeah.
Even if it's a children's book, no matter what it is, like.
It is a story. It is a narrative that people need to hear. And there's no single story, anyways. There are multiple stories or variety of stories that we all come. For instance, my narrative is different from your narrative. Does not mean I cannot learn from yours, neither can you learn from mine. You understand? Yes.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. So, with all this conversation, now you were no kids, then you got saddled with kids, now you become a daddy,
Mhm. Overnight. Yep.
overnight daddy, overnight daddy who transitioned into an author with children. How did it go? It's what were some of the challenges?
That's a good question. I
Did,
mean, initially, I was freaking out because they were not just, my nieces and nephews and my family, but they
Mhm,
were of a certain age, and
mhm,
there's a certain imprint that parents have on kids, no matter what, and obviously because they're their parents. And so that initially was really hard for me to deal with some of the things that came with. Um, the best way I can say it is dealing with the parents and how they affected the kids. And so initially it was really hard. But as we've gone through because it's been years now that we've had them, as we've gone through the years, we've just tried to be really respectful of the entire process. The kids as well, they really help out with. I mean, they're just great kids. They just really help out with, understanding that this is my first rodeo, my first time
mhm,
putting myself out there as a parent and really trying to do what's best for them. And so I think, having that understanding, and they're so young, so it's not really something that you would want to expect of a kid because they're children.
yes.
But because they have that understanding, I think that helps their situations too, because
Mhm,
foster kids have a very unique situation. And
mhm,
I know that, I'm not their dad, and anyone that enters their life is not going to be, that's a woman that's not going to be their mom or whatever the case may
mhm,
be. And they don't have that connection anymore. So
mhm,
um, that to me, finding ways to hear them through those moments, because they do bring up, like I miss my mom, I miss my dad. Finding ways to allow them to have that, those moments of sadness, of grief, of just loss, are really important to me, and just hearing them out, I think makes the biggest difference, in what I see, their attitudes, their emotions, and how they function day to day. So
mhm. Wow. That is a lot.
yeah.
Unfortunately, children don't come with a rule book. you
It's
you
funny.
have to figure it out. Yes,
This
yes.
social worker told me the other day, because
Hmm.
we're in the process of transitioning to adoption.
Oh,
And she
beautiful.
was like, "You should really consider like doing this." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "I mean, like continuing to take in kids." And I was like, I've got four. I don't think anymore is what's necessary." And she's like, "No, just think about it in this time in your life, because you've had these kids for so many years, and because these kids, like my niece is autistic, so she has an IEP. They all have IEPs for various reasons, but because they have IEPs, and because they have certain PTSD, and they've gone through things, like you have experience to continue to do this if you want to continue to save lives." And I literally had to sit there and think like, man, like that's a big statement to, it was one thing to take in my nieces and nephews because they're my family, but to take in other children, um, that would be a big task. And honestly, it would be God's will and God's mission to put that in my place, because the way she said it was so convincing, but not something I saw. I didn't see the kids in my life, but even more, it's a lot.
Maybe this is what I tend to find is that many times we don't see what we have or the gift
Mm-hmm.
we have till somebody points it out to us because they are outside observing and seeing all these skills that we encompass, we have. So probably he's seeing this beautiful gift you have, but you are still, questioning
Mm-hmm. Well,
yourself.
yeah. I mean, because I want to just do right by the kids, and they've been
Mhm.
through so much that it makes me feel. I mean, obviously, I'm their legal guardian, so I'm obligated as their parent to, do
Yeah.
what's best for them. But like, even when it changes to the adoption, and they're with me full time, and there's no one in between, there's a certain level of respect I want to have for them as children, because I don't think we always got that as children. And I think my mom did her best, and
Mhm.
I, commend her 100% for, being there for us as much as she possibly could.
Mhm.
Um, but I wouldn't, I wouldn't say that I would like be happy with myself if I wasn't trying to one up or do more if I could. You know?
I think we think sometimes we think as parents we have to give the children the whole world,
Mm,
and we don't have that capacity to do it. And children need to understand that, and that is
mhm,
where the strength to cope with difficulties in the world come, to navigate through this world comes in. But the most important thing is they've got love, they've got
mhm.
shelter. They are authors at this age with their daddy uncle. Come on.
Yeah. What's funny is that they got to see me speak in Naples for the book because we did an authors
Yes,
event.
yes, I watched that. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, that's your TED Talk moment.
yeah. It was just me telling my story,
Yes.
which felt great, and they were there. They got to see
Mhm,
it. They got to be in the crowd, and it, it's amazing to do that for them, and not
yes.
only for them, for myself, because it
Hmm.
was something I didn't believe I could do something else, and I did it.
Hmm.
So now I'm,
Hmm.
cutting down this list of things I can't do and proving to myself every single day that, I'm stepping up to the plate.
So they can't just focus on the CA and forget the rest.
I
Black
can.
them out, forget the rest.
Yep, that's true.
Until you try, you'll never know. Yes.
Hmm.
So I'm going to ask you. So at this point, what does family mean for you?
What does family? Family means, oh man, I'm gonna sound so corny, but family means home. It means um, love. It means unity. It means support. It means so many things that I think we have been challenged as a
Hmm.
family, as we've tried to formulate our family together.
Hmm.
So it means a lot of things. It means the world to me when it's the kids and all we've built. And yeah, that's a powerful word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The reason why I asked that question was that you look at many people these days, and for them to have families, somebody to call family. Some people don't. There are many people who are alone or lonely, and many people who may have lost, persons they call family. So they are also alone in the world. So I asked that question more often for people to think and become aware and be grateful for what they have. When
Mm,
you look at people, people don't have what you have. You
mm,
understand? Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. So, with all this, with being an author, Being a daddy, what do you intend to achieve? Where do you hope it's going to take you? I've already given you one platform, which is the TED Talk. So, see, I'm dreaming for you.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. That would be amazing, and I'm working myself or my way towards that. I think
Mhm,
being able to just continue to tell my story and
mhm,
um, really what I want to achieve is just impacting people to do the same. Taking that opportunity if you feel you have a story to tell to
mhm.
do it.
Yes.
That's really why I wanted to do it for myself. Was for the kids and to give them
Mhm,
inspiration, but also to change that mindset and slice
mhm.
off that last half of the can, of
Yes.
the last tin. So it was proving to myself that I'm worthy. I'm
Mhm.
I'm here to spread a message of love, of hope, of inspiration, and I'm hoping whoever hears it will do exactly the same thing for themselves,
Yeah.
because this book, taking in the children, they were one of the most scary and challenging things to do, but
Mhm.
so far have been the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. So,
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh man. So I'm going to ask a favor. I didn't tell you beforehand. If it's possible to give us a sample of the book.
oh,
This
okay. A little sample of the book. Yeah, I could definitely do that. Let me
yes.
see. Uh, I want to pick a. There's
Uh,
always one
How
part in.
many collections do you have of the book right now? That should be my question.
Yeah, so right now we have the just the paperback version, which is nice, but we have a hard cover edition as well, which
Okay.
I just think looks nice and
Yeah.
on bookshelves. But this is the first in the series. I'm working on the second
Okay.
one right now.
Okay. Listen
Real,
to you. I'm working on the second
yeah.
one right now.
Well, you said you had books, so I want to get like you and be on the same. I want to be multi
that
published.
is that is wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, but the idea is just to continue with the story.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I wanted this first book to land and kind of let it simmer and
Mm-hmm.
get the attention as much as it possibly could before I try to add to it. But
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to continue the story. I'd love to write more books. I'd love to speak more. I'd love to, yeah, just continue to tell our story. I want my kids to do the same. I think that they have a powerful story, and
Yes.
um, I think what they've been through needs to be told for them. There's no
Mm-hmm.
reason why they need to hold that in. But I've also expressed to them that when they're ready, they need to, access that inside of themselves, tell that story, because it's probably it'll probably impact more people than they probably could possibly think. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to just continue to put myself out here, just like doing this podcast, um, to put myself out there and just tell my story. That's really what I'd love. Yeah,
So whilst you're looking for the page,
yeah.
viewers, if you've not subscribed to the Nana Yaya Boa show, please do so that I can get wonderful guests such as Devon Taylor, author extraordinaire, number one daddy. I should toast you onto the show. Please do subscribe and follow. Thank you.
Let's see. Oh, okay, let's do.
Oh, there.
This is the Greek myth. Okay, so because we were talking about how I spell Icarus, we can kind of talk to that. So in the book, we're at the part where Icarus has been born, and Juno is asking about his name. And so uh, Juno goes, "What's the lad's name, eh?" And his mother goes, "I think I've decided on Icarus." Juno looks shocked shocked, and he goes, "I swear, isn't that a folk tale about a boy that flies into the sun or something?" Juno asked. Sunny laughed, which felt like a mini roller coaster for me in her arms because she was so strong. She shooed Juno away. That is the Greek myth about Icarus of Earth, the story of a captured boy who doesn't listen to his father and flies too close to the sun. Tisk tisk. That is much different than my boy, who was born with the power of the sun inside of him. This is Icarus, son of Aurora, and his name is spelt with a U for unity. So I'll stop there. I don't want to read too much. Get you guys to tune in and
Oh,
hopefully read the book. But every
I love it.
little thing we threw in there, we tried to have
The
like
U is for unity. I
mm-hmm.
love that. I
Yeah,
love that. That is beautiful.
thank
That is
you.
powerful. That
Thank
is
you.
powerful. Wow. So, from author, daddy, entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody who wanted just to be a football coach, and now you've been thrust into different avenues. How has this journey of entrepreneurship been for you?
It's honestly been really great because I'm getting to learn so much about myself, about my health. Something that I don't really mention very often is, the kids have transformed the way that we think about food, water, really specifically lately, and me and my partner have banded together to become water ambassadors, and we have joined a community where we are facilitating water sales. And so there's more information on my Instagram about that, but it's been eye-opening because there's a lot of things out there that I don't think we're all fully aware of until we start really doing the inner work. And once you start doing the inner work and connecting yourself with a much higher source, I think that's when things start opening up and you start kind of seeing the world for what it really is. So
Mhm.
for me, it's been a lot of transformation. It's been a lot of ups and downs.
No doubt.
It's been hard, but I would say out of everything, it's
Mhm.
been really rewarding and just really helping us see a little bit more clear, I guess you can say.
Yeah. Wow, that is great. That's great. So, um, yeah, I think you've touched on a few things, how rewarding it is, and learning and stuff. I think my next question is going to ask you specifically, what are some of the lessons you've learned from everything, from you being thrust in as a father to your storytelling, to your being an author and entrepreneurship, and being on stages now in the US, and soon you'll be on the world stage. So
Calling it
listen,
in, calling it in. Yes, I love it.
it is what it is. It's going to happen. You put in the work, God makes sure it happens. The universe, anyways. What are some of the lessons you've learned?
Hmm. I think the main lesson, and we've talked about it a few
Yeah.
times in this interview, is really believing in yourself, or at least giving yourself the opportunity to try the things that you believe you can't do. There is really nothing that we cannot do.
Mhm.
Anything is possible. I think, especially when you have that belief in yourself and not you don't allow your mind or any spirits or anything like that take control of you and
Mhm.
allow that to rule um, your decisions. But another lesson, let me see if there's anything that I can think of that I haven't said. um, I think maybe investing in yourself has been something that I've learned that is you don't always see it right away. At least what you're getting back, or at least financial gain, whatever it may be, when you do something like writing a book, because the process in whatever route you take can be expensive or time consuming or whatever the case may be. But I know after putting in that work and dedicating myself to finishing the project and just really, really just trying to put myself out there, it's opened so many doors and just allowed me to flourish in so many ways that I never saw myself doing, or at least accomplishing, in such a short amount of time too.
When
So
did the book come out?
February 14th.
Oh,
Yeah, Valentine's Day. So
oh.
I did that because I felt like it was like my Valentine's always been my mom. For the longest, I would
Yeah.
always give my Valentine a little card to her. So it was like my Valentine's to all the mothers out there. My way of saying thank you for what you guys do. Um, a lot of what being a parent is about, I think, really comes from our mothers and the women in our lives. And it was my way of saying thank you. And we see you, we appreciate you, and it's not an easy job being a parent whatsoever. So yeah, it was my way of saying thank you.
Oh, all the mamas we accept.
Yeah.
Even though it's way out there, in fact I accept it for this year and taking it to next year too, and carry over.
It's well deserved. I mean, it's not easy.
No, it's not. It's not easy, especially. It's never been easy. I can't say, especially in these days and time, because this is the only period that I live in that I know. I don't know any other time. So
Right.
I can only speak for now and for my little spot where I am. It's not easy. It's a lot of struggle. It's a lot of learning, self learning.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of hope and prayer. And because at the end, you have the children, but they are not ours, actually. They belong to the universe, they belong to the
Mm-hmm.
community. And guide, we guide them, we direct them, and we hope that the guidance and the direction we give, these seeds, positive seeds we sow in them, will germinate, useful fruits when they grow up and they don't get corrupted, you know.
Yeah,
But we can only do so much. We can only do so much. Wow,
absolutely.
beautiful. So, what am I looking at in the future?
In the future for me, let's more books, more
More kids.
podcasts, more kids, potentially. The near future, who knows? Yeah, that
Yes.
um, hopefully more speeches. Right
Mhm.
now, I'm in the process of auditioning for an authors event in Tucson. So
Oh,
many prayers.
Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah,
Oh,
they have a big festival every year, and
oh,
you got to enter in and enter your book, and they review it and let you know whether or not they want to have you as a panelist. And it could be a good opportunity once again just to spread my message,
yes.
have the kids, get
Yeah.
some time out in Tucson, and just do something different, and
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
that's really what I have, lined up right now. Just continuing on with what we're already doing and
Mhm,
raising these kids. But
mhm.
yeah,
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank
um,
you, Devon.
thank you.
Really appreciate you saying yes to this interview. But before we go, if people are looking for copies of this book, you gotta tell us, where are we going to find this book, Icarus?
Yes. So you can find Icarus Finds His Power on Amazon. You can find it on
Mhm,
barnesandnobles.com. If you would like a signed copy, I do sell Icarus Finds His Power on my website, which is just
mhm,
devontaylorauthor.com.
mhm.
And I'd love
Please
to
remember
personalize.
to add the author because
Yeah,
it will take you to so many different.
there's a lot of Devon
I
Taylors.
know, I know.
Very common name in America, but
Yes, yes, yes,
yes,
yes.
add the author at the end, and that'll lead you directly to the website. But I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, and just kind of. I've slowed down a little bit because I've been trying to be a little bit more present with my life, with the kids, with our process and what we've got going on over here. But I do post, occasional updated videos and kind of keep you guys in the loop as far as how life is going on over here on this end. And, those are my ways of getting that message out. So if you guys are interested, want to follow, you're more than welcome to. It's just Devon Taylor author at all of my handles. So, yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. This has been really cool.
Beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. My brother from another mother. So, guys, if you've never watched the Nana Yayabwa show, the Nana Yayabwa show is about storytelling, the power of story to transform, to inspire. And since it's not a singular story, there are multiplicities of stories around. It is imperative we hear different narratives from people of different backgrounds so that we tend to share and learn across the board, across the world, what story means. Many of my viewers are on the continent. Some are here in Canada, some are in the US, some are in the UK. Yes. So what I want to do is to bridge that diasporan African and the African diaspora, just like yourself, in story, so that what you're going through, you sharing your story, somebody will hear where they are not here. Or even here in Canada or the US, somebody will say, I heard this podcast with Devon and he did this, he did that. It will inspire them to take a pen, a paper, or just pick up their laptop and write that story that is sitting within you for eons and eons of time. We are human beings and we are full of stories. Devon,
Yes, I love that. We
my people
are.
say Medase. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank
Thank
you
you so
very
much.
much. And I'm going to put in all your handles down there somewhere. Yes.
Perfect.
So whoever that is looking for can actually just click on it and it takes you right to Devon. The beauty of technology.
Yeah.